Hello everybody, we're back after the Christmas little break there, the little inconvenience, shall we say. No, let's say that. I'm a bit of a scrooge over Christmas, but yeah, I hope you've all had a decent Christmas. So today's video is going to be on an update of what I've got done since the last video basically, and then we're going to be doing an install of the Killer Sump. I've welded the bung on the front, but we'll go over that. And also measure up for the exhaust system, because that's the next bit of the job that needs doing, but I'll go into and explain it. So I'll pull you in, we'll get the bumper off and show you what we've been doing. So yeah, to start with, we had the issue, I don't know if you remember from the last video, but the grill, because we've moved the radiator from the back of the crash bar to the front of the crash bar now, we had the issue where I've had to cut back all the back of the grill, so the grill could then not attach with them little silly clips, you know, back into the front crash bar. So what I've done to overcome that, I've not got the bumper bolted on by the way, but what I've done to overcome that is, initially I've made up this little bracket here, which is just some bar that I had, I got it from B&Q, remember from the last video. And then I cut down a bit of the flat tube, a couple of washers, and then a riv nuts, just simple stuff, but I think it suits it. And it clears all this pipe work and stuff. I've had to angle it up a bit, but yeah, I've got a couple of sheets of carbon fibre. I'd actually made them for a friend. I made them for Ben at 1012. Do you remember the guy that did my swell pot in the back? But they didn't go right. They've got loads of imperfections in, you know, I wasn't happy with them anyway, so I've got them scrap up against the wall there for stuff like this. So I just made a template the other night, cut this out of carbon, edge trimmed it, and then I've used these little push rivets. You know, the like Subaru, they go in here anyway from the factory, you know, but obviously I've removed these, I've got a bag full of them, so anyway, that's how the grill now attaches, nice and secure, 4 of them along that leading edge there, and then we can remove the grill nice and easily. So I was going to initially do it where this was riveted to the grill, but then if I wanted to get the bumper off, which I do quite frequently, I was going to have to then undo all of these bolts, which it doesn't sound that bad, but it takes more time than to pop those out, if it makes sense. So I'll get this bumper off, and then we'll be able to see a bit further in to see the brackets. I made a couple more brackets to hang the turbo off, if you remember saying that was going to be an issue, and then the boost pipes. Yeah, so we can see that a little bit better now, but I'll just spin the camera around. We've got this, I've made this little bracket because if you remember me saying we had the issue of the headers only being made out of 2mm thick stainless, you know, from the old headers, and this is really heavy, especially with the wastegate, you know, weighing down on the headers, so they're more than likely crack. So I've thought, where can I go with the bracket, you know, on the top here, and I thought this is a good sturdy. This is a good sturdy bracket for the alternator and the original air conditioning pump. So I'm not doing an alternator flip like what most people do, various reasons, but this being one of them, because I need to hang this on here. But it's basically just on two panhead, you know, Allen keys. I'll whip it off so you can get a better bit of a better look at it. But I've just got it on like into the original Lambda Boss on the collector. If I'll pull that out as well. So where the Lambda used to bolt into the original collector, I've just got like the Boss, and I've just welded like a lug onto it with one of these pins. Do you know what they're called? Okay, I don't know what they're called, can't remember. But anyway, yeah, welded that on there. My welding's actually getting a little bit better. Can you see? Can we see that? maybe. A little bit better anyway. But yeah, this is the bracket. So started off with a piece of the bar, you know, the tube that I built the front end out of. Mocked this up, bit of that tube again, and then I've reinforced the holes with some of that tube as well, and then just capped off all the ends. And then I used one of the old bumper supports from last year. Do you know that used to be off the side, holding the splitter? They used to be around the side there. Just used one of those because it already had a rose joint and I'd already tapped the thread, you know, cut the thread onto it. So yeah, it does the job. I swung off it, you know, so it's had it's had a decent bit of weight on it. But yeah, that's that. I'm going to clean that up, and then I've ordered some of the VHT crinkle coat for it. And that's going to get crinkle coated along with this bracket here and a couple of other bits. So yeah, that's that. We're going to go on to, I'll show you how I've routed the boost pipe work next. I'll put that up there for now. So the boost pipe, if you remember, it used to come originally from the top, it still does, but from the top, round, it was a bit awkward. It was one of the Jap Speed kits, and then it used to come down the front, rub on the cam cover and the expansion bottle, and it was just a bit of a Chinese fit, shall we say. But it's done its job for however long. So I was going to leave this the hot side, from the turbo. I was going to have the boost pipe, the turbo outlet pointed up, and I was going to come along, round, and then in like that. But, blimey, no, it's got a bit, oh no, it's not. I thought I had rust on the turbo then. It is getting a bit wet in here. But, yeah, so I had a thought the other night, we'll point the down, I'll put some pictures in so you can see better, but we'll point the turbo outlet down, and then we'll build the boost pipe off that. So I'll try my best now to get you in down here. So I've completely forgot how far ahead we have got, but I'll bring you around the front in a minute and show you the intercooler that I've flipped. So remember this, the outlets used to be at the bottom here when we was going to have issues with them fouling a little bit, you know, on the bumper. It would have been a bit tight, you know. So we've flipped the intercooler up, and I swung off this the other day as well, and it's nearly pulled the car off the ramp. So it's not going anywhere. Because I was going to consider putting another reinforcement bar down here, but this is solid. So we've got this bar, which I'll show you, and then I've put like another reinforcement under the bottom here. As I say, I'll put some pictures in, but when I bring the camera on the front, you'll see it. So this boost pipe, these boost couplers, I've never had an issue. They're the Nomex line 7-ply, and they're from Rouse, however you pronounce it, but Johnny Rouse from Rouse Motorsport. He does all silicon couplings. I just message him direct, but I think you can get them off the website. He's got a website anyway. Put a link in the description. And yeah, they're really good couplers. So this is the pipe I made up. I did have it initially on. I had it on with another coupler here. This was my first go at aluminium welding as well, and my first go at welding aluminium piping on this pipe. So I thought it went all right, but it was really difficult. So anyway, this one goes through. We've got this coupler. This coupler goes on here, and then it joins up to the intercooler. We've gone from, and then we join up to the turbo on a silicon coupler, one of these again. We've gone from 1500 mil of intercooler piping coming from the old turbo to this is 625 mil long, so we've saved a massive amount. Don't know if there'll be a noticeable difference, but it's better to be shorter than longer, I suppose. So yeah, you can just see it in there, but where the turbo now points down, it was initially a bit further round, but we've had to move it because of the oil return, but I'll explain that in a bit. So we've got one of these silicon elbows coming off, but I don't know what people's opinions are on it. I might put a cast elbow welded onto the bottom of the turbo. it'll gain me a bit of space and move the boost pipe up away from the headers, if that makes sense. But I've not decided yet, we'll see. So that's the hot side anyway. I'll take you over and show you the cold side. That's a little bit longer, but it's still shorter than it was. So cold side used to come obviously out of here on the U section that was used on this side. Ben welded that from 1012 for me. On the original car, do you know, that's what that nice weld is in the middle. It's not from me. So original boost pipe used to come round under, then it used to come up here, rub again, as I said, rub again the cam cover and the expansion ball, pain in the ass. So what I've done is I've cut a hole. I'll take this out, it's a bit tight. But I've made this pipe, so a couple of welds. This one's not the prettiest, I blew a hole in it there, so I've had to go over it, and then I've pressure tested all these as well, you know, so they don't leak. But that's not bad, if I do say so myself. It's getting a little bit better, maybe, is it? What do you think? Anyway, so we've got that one that goes, you've just seen how it goes. So then I've cut a hole in the chassis here. I'll move the camera in a minute when I show you the other bit. And then I've just put some of that edge trimming on, the edge trimming that we used for this piece. And then this is the original boost pipe that I didn't want to, this is another reason I didn't want to change the manifold orientation, you know, to flip it, because I've got this, I've already made all this. You know, put the V-band on for the dump valve, and it's got an intake air temps boss in it, and it's couldn't be bothered. So this piece goes, I've made it dip below, it always used to foul on the, tell you what, I'll take you over to the inlet manifold and then you'll see it better, but I always used to foul on the brake booster little nipple that comes out the inlet, and I was always scared it was going to crack it off. I needed to adapt it really, but it's modified now, so it's much better. So that's how it goes on the inlet manifold. It used to come round and I'm sure it went over that one, Oren, but it was always real dead tight. I'll zoom in and show you, but can you see it's like a nipple that comes out the inlet, and when it's on the car, this is up higher than it would be on the car, but when it's on the car, it's plenty low of it now. This dip, do you know, clears it completely. So yeah, nice run coming down there. Again, the bit where I finished the weld is right. It's a bit messy there, but who cares? So yeah, that's how it sits anyway. I'll show you it back on the car. I should have left the inlet back on really, but yeah, oh well. Yeah, that's how it goes on the car, and then lines up as you can see, with the pipe, with the piece that comes through from the chassis straight onto there. I've made sure I've kept every piece that has a silicon join. I've kept the OEM, you know, the original bead, so it didn't blow off. I did have issues with that initially when I first started doing all this stuff, but yeah, that's about it in here. You've seen all the radiator mounted and everything. The other thing, I actually mounted the oil control valve, the Killer B. This is just a bung to stop dirt getting in there, but yeah, I mounted I'll move you in again so you can see. You can't see what I'm talking about. If you remember, the fuel pressure regulator was actually mounted on a little bracket underneath there on that riv nut, and it used to just come off and sit there exactly where this now sits. So this is the oil control valve that I was discussing in the previous video. I've just got this bung on to stop there getting in, but I've had to move the fuel pressure regulator, and this is the only location it could go because I've not used nitrile fuel line. I've used PTFE, so it doesn't have much bend, you know, can't bend it much. So it was really on its limit when it was mounted here, to be honest, but excuse me, it's a little bit better, you know, as far as bend radius on it now. But this looks pissed. It's not, it's just, I've mounted it to the bulkhead now. it's not fully tight, you know, because I've obviously got to run these 2 lines back to the fuel rails. So yeah, this is all mounted up nicely. I did have an issue because I wanted to put riv nuts in here, and I got a right angle drill, drilled them off, put the riv nuts in, and it's like double skinned, so the riv nuts wouldn't actually fit. You know, they wouldn't go through, so I've had to nut and bolt it with nylock nuts, but it's in, it's fine, it's steady. So yeah, I'll pull back out and I'll show you this intercooler as well while I'm here. So yeah, I'll lift the ramp up in a minute and show you the underneath, but I just wanted to show you the top what I've done. All I've done is welded this box section onto the chassis where I'd cut the old one off, if you remember. And then I had some titanium bolts in the, that has no relevance really, but in the search of lightweight. Sergio will be pleased, one of my friends. These are titanium. I had a bag full of them from the splitter originally, but I'll lift the ramp up and then I'll show you what I've done underneath. But as you can see, it's as solid as it's going to be with this front end. So yeah, we made like a little Y sort of section, you know, reinforced. I got it all on and then realised that I've mounted the bar a little bit too low, so we had to fill this back section in with a little piece, but it's solid, you know, like it's not going anywhere. And then again, just 2 titanium bolts in there. So yeah, what we'll do next is I'll get this intercooler off, we'll get the radiator off, and then I'll show you how we're going to measure up and route for the exhaust system. I also did, I've extended the radiator pipe and got a coupler for that. I'll spin you around here. You can just see it there. But yeah, I just had 100 mil, sorry, 80 mil this one is. The radiator's like sort of on that sort of angle, pointing forward a little bit. So the top needs extended by 100 mil and the bottom by 80 mil. So it's actually, it fits perfectly when this wiring's going back up there. But yeah, it's, let me twist that back around. I've just ordered like a little coupler, I'll put a picture of it in the screen. A little aluminium coupler, and it's just gonna, it has a 4 mil gap, you know, 4 mil, you'll see on the picture anyway, but yeah, and then some OEM wire clamps, and yeah, it fits nicely, as if it's OEM. So the top one, I'll grab it, 2 secs. And this is the crossover pipe that goes across the top of the block, you know, bolts to the top of the block. So this is where it normally would mount to and go to the silicon pipe that goes to the radiator. So it's decent wall thickness, it's 3 mil. So what I've done is, this is not it, this is like 1.5 mil or 1.6 mil, whatever, but I'm just showing you as an example. I've ordered a piece of 3 mil thick wall alloy pipe like this, 150 mil long, and then I'm going to cut it down to what it needs to be. But I'm literally just going to weld that onto the end there to extend it, and then your OEM silicon hose can go on. I want to keep everything, a few people have been messaging me like, why have you not done this, why have you not done that, but I want to keep things as simple. I know this is not a simple setup, but I want to try and keep things as simple as I can, or as close to the setup as what I had last year, because it worked, it was reliable, not towards the end, but that was out of my hands. It's reliable and it worked. So that's what we want, that's key. So I'm trying to keep things similar or as simple as I can, where if I have this, I know I can just go and buy. If I have a best pipe on the front, I can just go to, you know, wherever, you know, car patch place, Demon Tweaks or whatever, and go and get a replacement hose or even an OEM one. So it makes sense. But yeah, that's the radiator side of things anyway, coolant side of things. We've just got a fan to buy, and I think I'm going to get a Mishimoto 16-inch fan, and that's going to go on the back, where the downpipe's going to go. But I'll whip this front end off, as I say, and then we'll show you how the exhaust's going to route, and then we can get on to fitting the Sump and stuff. Right, I got the front end off, so you can't really see me, but you don't want to see me anyway. We've got, I've managed to do a bit of drawing. This is, I'm not very good at drawing, but this is how it's going to route. So I've managed to, I'll go through this in a sec, but I've managed to use the boost pipes. The boost pipe's only 2.5 inch. So 2.5 inch, and that's just an old intake pipe, but that's the difference, you know, 2.5 and 3 inch. So obviously I haven't got any 90s of this, you know, to see how it's going to go, but I've used this to get a rough idea. So we're going to use 2 90s. It's going to go, this joint here between the 2 90s is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be twisted around a little bit more, but so it'll be in like that position when it finishes out underneath here. But that gives you a basic idea of how it's going to look. We've got 190, this is in 3 inch, another 90, and then from the bottom, because we've had this to use, what else did I have? Can't remember what I had, but anyway, because we've got this to use, we've been able to figure out we need a 15 degree going off there, and then I'll show you the rest of the under the car. But whilst I'm up here, I'll go through the that needs some tape on it. I'll go through how I'm doing the wastegate. So with the wastegate, we've got the downpipe's going to be about here like that. So I've managed to actually get this water pipe, which was on here. The water pipe's going to be going over here like this. It's all going to be heat wrapped, by the way. This is 60 degrees and this is a little bit steeper. Well, that's 60 degrees, that's about 50-ish, 55. So I'm going to go straight off here with a 45, and then at the bottom I'm going to have another 45, which will then I'll be able to cut it down, and it'll go as shallow as it can into the downpipe flow. And then in the middle, so we've got a 45 in the middle here. We're going to have a bellow. I'll put a picture of one in the screen, but you'll know what it is. Just like a little expansion joint, like a little sprung expansion joint, just to allow for any, because this might be hotter than this, or you don't know. Do you know? Basically, when the gases are going through this and not as much going through here, this pipe, because it's smaller diameter, might be hotter. So then these 2 pipes will expand at a different rate. So we want something to allow that rather than cracking the pipes, of course. But yeah, I'll go through this and then I'll go underneath the car. So we've got, this is handy, isn't it? So we've got 90 degree. This is so I know what to order. I'm ordering it from Turbo's Entrum. So we've got turbo with a 3 inch V-band there. We've got a 90 degree pipe coming off, which is pipe coming off there like that. Then we've got another 90 going underneath, so another 90 going underneath there. That wasn't 90, but anyway. 15 degree coming off that. So a 15 degree, slight little bend just to straighten us back up, you know, to get us going in the right direction. And then I wasn't ideal about this, but there's not really a lot we can do. I could maybe shallow them out a little bit with 45s and then mess about, but just in front of the gearbox, I'll show you in a minute, but we're going to do another 90. So back here somewhere, 90, back to a 90 to get us back to where the stock downpipe comes out. Then we're going to do just the same as a normal Subaru downpipe, a 45 to get us past the little kink where the bracket is, do you know, the little bolt bracket that holds the exhaust up. I'm going to weld a tab on there as well for that. And then we've got a V-band going on the end, and that's it. So that's my order list. It's not really that much. And then for the wastegate, as I've just said, 2 45s and a bellow. Simple. And there's a V-band already on there. So that's my order list in 45mm pipe. So yeah, that's it really. I can now take this all off, and I'm gonna check. I've not checked this for leaks, so I need to check it all, pressure test it all, make sure it's got no holes in it, go over any pinholes if there is any. And yeah, that's it. I'll just take you underneath the car to show you what I was just talking about, and then that's it, yeah. So I thought I'd show you with this pipe and make it a little bit easier, but so we've got the 90 degree coming out from the base of the turbo here. We've got to remember to clear the, which side is that? That's that side. So we've got to remember to clear this radiator pipe. Obviously that's going to the radiator there. So, and then we've got this Sump line here. So 90 coming off the turbo, 90 coming down here. Then we're going to go to a 15 degree. This is 45 degree, but we're going to go to a 15 degree to get us back straight in this location. We're going to go along to here. We're going to have to cut out the splitter, as I say, down here. Heat, wrap it all, make sure it's all safe. Not going to set on fire. Then we're going to have a 90 coming along here, another 90 coming down here. Then this is 45, so I can show you this. We've got a 45 going here, probably further along, going here, and then another 45 going here, and then that's where we'll meet up to the stock exhaust system, which is at the back over there. And that's it. I've just got to chop the 2 flange bolt off the rest of the exhaust system and replace it with a V. Oh, my head. Sorry, replace it with a V-band. Yeah, I'll get out from under here anyway. I don't like being under them. So I planned to fit the Sump today, but the video's already long enough, and I want to try and condense them a little bit, keep them a bit shorter. So we'll do the Sump install as its own video, nice 10-15 minute video, just to show you that. And then the next video after that will be of me fabricating the exhaust system. So I'll get it all ordered today, and then come back and we'll show you. That process. But just one more thing I wanted to show you was the boss that I've welded onto the Sump, and then just 2 issues that we have. 1 minute. So I was going to get someone to weld this on because I wasn't really confident, but after doing the boost pipes, yeah, I was pretty confident with it. So it was a nightmare. 180 amps it took to get heat into it, so I probably should have preheated it, but it's very, very thick, which is a good thing. So yeah, I've literally just welded. This was like millimeters, it couldn't go anywhere else, because on the car, I'll put a picture on the screen, there's the 2 oil pump outlets are here, and I've got an Sump 90 degree elbow coming out here. So it could only go in that location, and I wanted it to be feeding back into where the pickup pipe goes. Just makes sense, more oil supply going back where it needs to be. So when I've got this on, I'll show you how tight everything is for the AN10 return that's going to be coming from the turbo. It's going to have a 45 on here, and then on the turbo a straight, but all the V-bands and the location of everything is dead tight, That's why I've got to have this fitted and the return pipe on before I can fabricate the exhaust system. And then before all that, I've got to have the boost pipe on to know the clocking angle of this. Bit of a nightmare. But anyway, join me on the next video, and as I said, we'll go through doing the exhaust system, or maybe this. We'll see. But I'll see you on the next episode. Take it easy.